So, something happened at the White House yesterday that I think is one of the most significant moments in modern American history. And most people are treating it like a fun news story. It is not a fun news story. It is a warning. Yesterday, First Lady Melania and Trump walked side by side down a red-carpeted White House hallway with a humanoid robot named Figure 03. The robot greeted guests in 11 languages and described itself as a humanoid built for the United States of America. Melania and Trump described the moment as an inflection point for technology and humanity and offered her own vision for robots like Figure 03 to become permanent fixtures in American classrooms. She said, "Imagine a humanoid educator named Plato who could teach classical studies." She said access to literature, science, art, philosophy, mathematics, and history would be instantaneous. And she said robots in classrooms would give children more time to be with friends, play sports, and develop as complete people. Now, I want to be very clear about something before I get into the list of jobs this robot is coming for. I am not saying this technology is evil. I am not saying Melania and Trump is wrong to highlight it. What I am saying is that the moment a humanoid robot walks into the White House and gets presented as a replacement for human educators, every working American needs to pay very close attention to what is actually being announced. Because this is not science fiction anymore. This happened yesterday in the East Room of the White House, in front of representatives from 45 nations and 28 of the largest technology companies in the world. Companies, including Microsoft, Google, Meta, and OpenAI, were all in the room when this robot walked in. This was not a demonstration. This was a policy statement. And the policy being stated is that humanoid robots are coming into the American workforce, starting with education, but absolutely not stopping there. Now let me tell you about something that happened before yesterday that almost nobody is covering. Figure AI, the company that built Figure 03, was sued last year by its former head of product safety. His name is Robert Grundell. He alleged he was fired after warning executives that the company's robots were powerful enough to fracture a human skull. The suit stated that Figure AI's next-generation robots moved at superhuman speed and generated force approximately twice the level necessary to fracture an adult human skull. He also alleged that one robot had carved a gash into a steel refrigerator door during a malfunction. The person responsible for keeping people safe around these machines said they were dangerous enough to kill someone, and the company fired him for saying it. That robot walked into the White House yesterday. The First Lady called it her first American-made humanoid guest. And now the White House is promoting it as a classroom educator for children. I think every parent in America deserves to know that before we go any further. Now let me get to the list you came here for. Because the company's own CEO, Brett Adcock, has been very specific about what he believes humanoid robots will replace. And the list is much longer than teachers. Adcock has previously said that Figure robots are designed to address labor shortages in the United States by joining the workforce everywhere from factories to farmland. He wrote that as these robots join the workforce, the cost of labor will decrease until it becomes equivalent to the price of renting a robot, facilitating a long-term reduction in costs. He then said over time, humans could leave the loop altogether as robots become capable of building other robots, driving prices down even more. Humans leaving the loop altogether. That is the CEO of the company whose robot just walked into the White House. So here's a list of jobs Figure AI and its competitors have specifically targeted for humanoid robot replacement. Job number 1. Teachers and educators. This is the one the White House announced yesterday. Melania and Trump specifically mentioned replacing classroom instruction with a humanoid educator. 3.2 million public school teachers in the United States. Job number 2. Factory workers. This is Figure AI's primary commercial deployment right now. The company already has robots working in manufacturing facilities doing assembly and materials handling. 12.9 million manufacturing workers in the United States. Job number 3. Warehouse workers. Amazon already uses warehouse robots extensively. Humanoid robots are the next step into tasks that wheeled robots cannot perform. 1.9 million warehouse workers in the United States. Job number 4. Agricultural workers. Adcock specifically mentioned farmland in his public statements. Picking, sorting, planting, and harvesting are all being targeted by humanoid robotics companies right now. 2.6 million agricultural workers in the United States. Job number 5. Home health aides and caregivers. Figure 03 was introduced in October 2025 as a home robot designed specifically for household tasks including laundry, cleaning, and washing dishes. The leap from household tasks to elder care tasks is shorter than most people realize. 3.6 million home health aides in the United States. Job number 6. Retail workers. Stocking shelves, processing returns, managing inventory, and handling basic customer transactions are all tasks humanoid robots are being trained to perform right now. 7.4 million retail workers in the United States. Job number 7. Construction workers. Figure AI's competitors, including Boston Dynamics, are actively developing humanoid robots for construction site tasks. 7.9 million construction workers in the United States. Job number 8. Delivery drivers. Combined with the autonomous vehicle technology already deployed by Waymo and the delivery robots already operating for DoorDash and Walmart, humanoid robots represent the final piece of the delivery automation puzzle. 4.9 million delivery and transportation workers in the United States. Job number 9. Fast food workers. Several major fast food chains are already piloting humanoid robots for food preparation tasks. The figure that gets thrown around in industry reports is that a humanoid robot doing food prep pays back its cost in under 2 years compared to a full-time minimum wage employee. 3.5 million fast food workers in the United States. Job number 10. Security guards. Humanoid robots are already being tested in security patrol roles in several U.S. cities. They do not need breaks, cannot be bribed, and never call in sick. 1.1 million security guards in the United States. Now I want to read you one more quote from the Figure AI CEO, because I think it is the most honest statement any tech executive has made about what is actually coming. He said, "Today, manual labor compensation is the primary driver of goods and services prices." He said, as robots join the workforce, the cost of labor will decrease. He then said, over time, humans could leave the loop altogether. In plain language, what he is describing is a world where human labor becomes optional, where companies can choose between paying a human being or renting a robot, and where the robot is always cheaper, never sick, never late, never asks for a raise, and never complains. Now, here is what the White House is not telling you alongside the exciting robot announcement. The 45 million American workers in the 10 job categories I just listed represent nearly 30% of the entire United States workforce. If even half of those jobs are displaced by humanoid robots over the next 10 to 15 years, that is 22 million people looking for new work. Simultaneously, in an economy that just lost 92,000 jobs last month. In an economy where AI layoffs are already hitting 45,000 tech workers in just the first 3 months of 2026. In an economy where gig work, the supposed safety net for displaced workers, is already oversaturated and paying less than minimum wage after expenses. Where exactly are 22 million displaced workers supposed to go? That is the question nobody in that East room asked yesterday. They were too busy taking photos with the robot. Here's what you need to do right now, regardless of what industry you work in. First, ask yourself honestly whether any part of your current job follows a predictable enough pattern that a robot with a vision language action model could learn it. If the answer is yes, you need to be developing skills that are harder to automate. Relationship management, complex problem solving, creative judgment, and physical work in unpredictable environments are the categories with the longest runway. Second, do not assume your job is safe because it requires physical dexterity. That was true 5 years ago. It is less true today. And Figure 03 just demonstrated in the White House that humanoid robots can now walk, talk, greet in 11 languages, and interact with humans in real time. The dexterity gap is closing faster than almost anyone predicted. Third, pay attention to the companies your employer is partnering with. If your company has announced partnerships with Figure AI, Boston Dynamics, Tisseropatimos, or any other humanoid robotics company, that is not a press release. That is a roadmap. Here is the bottom line. Yesterday, a humanoid robot walked into the White House, and the First Lady called it a historic moment. She was right. It was historic, but not in the way it was being celebrated. It was historic because it was the moment the United States government officially endorsed humanoid robots as replacements for human workers, starting with 3.2 million teachers. And with a CEO who has already said in writing that over time, humans could leave the loop altogether. The question is not whether this is coming. It already came. It walked down the red carpet yesterday. The question is what you are going to do about it before it reaches your industry. Subscribe so you do not miss what is coming next. And go watch the video on screen right now. I will see you in the next one.